The senator representing Borno South District, Ndume, is bemoaning the incessant cases of insecurity in the country. He says Nigerians do not seem to understand the gravity of the situation. The lawmaker is expressing concern over the rise in criminal activities, adding that security and welfare are threatened in Nigeria. Ndume says the country is on a dangerous brink and is urging citizens to match faith with actions in ensuring urgent improvement in the security situation. He says the solution to the country's challenges lie with individual determination to bring about the needed change.
Well, for analysis, let's turn to our Rise News analyst, Professor ABIODUN. Thank you so much for joining us on the news.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you,
Prof.
Yeah, so a lot of issues we've outlined there, from insecurity to, religious leaders who are charging us on how to live in peace. What will be general reactions to the stories we just highlighted there?
Yeah, but I think it's first very important for us to congratulate ourselves that for what the military achieved today in Kaduna, by being able to repel the bandits who wanted to seize another set of students. And it just tells us that these bandits are not spirits, they are human beings. They need some level of surveillance, some level of monitoring, some level of intelligence and communication to be able to carry out their act. But I also want to imagine that government is in a better state, to do better surveillance, better communication, and probably to intercept their communication. Whatever the bandits think they can do, government can definitely do it better, and I'm sure that was what was exemplified today in security agencies' ability to nip another kidnap in the bud. So congratulations to us, and I also want us to continue from this level. Having been able to achieve what we have achieved, it means that we have done certain things different from what we've been doing in the past. When they have continue to dominate us, but we can continue from this achievement today, from what we achieved today, so that we can, do better, really, and prevent further attacks, as the case could be.
Well, very well said, Prof, but it's not the same case in faraway Osun State, where 6 Nigerians were murdered, and some taken away. I think here, one may want to question the police about intelligence gathering and nipping, some of these acts in the bud. Is it inadequacy of equipment or patrol, men on the beats to really police the country?
But largely, Christian, I think it's more of the failure of intelligence. Some of these issues can actually be dealt with through intelligence. Like the Kaduna one, for instance, these bandits are, they go about with sophisticated weapons, like we've been told, sophisticated machines that you begin to wonder where they were able to acquire these things for. Some of them can even match those that our security agencies hold, but maybe because of some simple manifestation of intelligence, our people, security forces were able to outsmart them. So intelligence has to be ramped up. That is one. But secondly, we do not also have to deny the fact that our security forces are overstretched. We are underpoliced, and of course, the army too, apart from being overwhelmed, being busy in most states of the Federation, they are also undermanned. Perhaps we need to ask governments to be concerned about increasing their number, increasing the strength of these agencies, beyond the numbers that we presently have. Every day we hear about billions being voted for arms and ammunition. What's wrong if some of these monies are probably deployed to, getting some of our young men, to enlist in the security agencies? We have quite a number of people out there who will be interested, if they are called upon to so do. So what's wrong with us increasing their number so that we can, outmatch, or match these bandits, insurgents, and kidnappers?
It tells us there's really a big problem. At least it takes us into one of the stories we spoke about from Ondo State, from the Amotekun Corps, who has also noticed this very big gap in saying that the criminals have more weapon advantage, really. So how do we start, closing these gaps before we go on a break? Yeah,
it's very, very important. It's something that has been on for a long time. We are nearly borderless. Our border are not policed. Proliferation of small and light arms. And of course, there's the bad apple theory leveled against members of the security agency. Some of them trading their arms, to these criminals to commit crime. allegedly anyway, but these are things that we'll keep hearing, you know. So in different ways, they can get armed, you know. But what is important is just for us to be much more conscientious and know that we have a job to do as agencies of government.
Yes, indeed, Professor ADENIYI, we do have a job to do as a nation. But let's take some messages. When we return, we'll continue to interrogate the successes and failures of the Nigerian military against the bandits. Stay with us. You're welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We're reaching you from the nation's capital, Abuja, and you're watching Newsnight Nigeria. My name is Christian Ogodo.
And I am Chinemerem Joseph.
Well, we still have Arise News Analyst, Associate Professor ABIODUN in the house. I was just going to pick you on what the Archbishop of the Catholic Archdiocese of Abuja said when he lambasted politicians, the political leaders, saying they are parochial, they are self-centered, they are selfish, they drive the kind of underdevelopment that we see in this country. What are your thoughts here?
Well, I appreciate the standpoint of my Lord. The bishop is speaking from the paternal pastoral level, you know, which is very understandable. He comes from a pedestal of grace, you know, so he can pontificate from that standpoint, you know. But with every due respect, I think that sometimes it can also be dangerous if we're absolute, you know, if we tie all of them with the same brush. Yes, we know that politicians have failed us over the years, but amongst their rank, we still have some of them who are fantastic people. And most of the time, they are only overwhelmed by the system. You know, from the many bad ones, we also have some very good ones, you know, who are putting in their best in the past couple of years. And of course, there are examples that we can cite. You know, what we can do in the circumstances is use the mechanism of government, you know, the mechanism of institutions, you know, to continue to emphasize the importance of performance to them, you know, so through advocacy, because if we are lethargic in asking them to perform, of course, we can rest on their hours. But as citizens, we also have a responsibility to call them to order, you know, to call them to action. But in doing so, we also need to identify those who have been salutary away from those who have been unsalutary, you know. But I will not agree with my Lord, with due respect, that all of them are absolutely nonsensical in their activities.
Okay, so just before we wrap up this segment, we also listened to the senator representing Borno South District, Ndume, you know, lamenting the incessant cases of insecurity in the country. Of course, we cannot sideline, we've been drawn along ethnic lines, really. But how do these leaders, you know, come together to ensure that insecurity, which is widening, especially in the northern states, are closed?
Actually, you know, we've been talking about insecurity, and the other day I said, if you look at if you do a sample of all the stories over 1 week, you know, 8 out of every 10 stories that you see borders on insecurity. So it's very disturbing, very concerning. And of course, yesterday also we had Asiwaju Bola Tinubu making his own comment. So it's just about insecurity. But what do we do? State of emergency, like a lot of people have advocated. We need a higher level of urgency beyond what we're seeing now. And that's what we seem not to be seeing. And that's why conscientious leaders are becoming worried, you know. But we just hope that, you know, the center of authority will react much more than they are doing, even though they are not also resting on their hours. But of course, we need more reaction so that if policies are rightly activated, what we saw happen in Kaduna today can be replicated in other sectors, you know, and as often as possible, then we can begin to say goodbye to insurgency, goodbye to kidnapping, and probably goodbye to banditry as well. It will just remain a face in our life, and we can write it up, document it as a historical phase in our evolution as a nation.
Thanks so very much, Professor ABIODUN ADENIYI, a Rise News Analyst, and of course, a development communications expert as well at Base University.